This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everyone. This is Laura Dancho, Councilwoman for District 10 and Chairperson of the Ordinance Committee. Tonight is Tuesday, May 4th, and it's 6:30 p.m. Tonight is a special ordinance meeting for a public hearing regarding the proposed fiscal year budget. And we've got several callers signed up, and I just want to remind everyone that our council clerk, Ms. Paquette, will be unmuting you in the order to which you have signed up. If anyone has not already signed up, please voice that now so that we can get a complete list. And then at the very end, I will ask if anyone has joined later and would like to speak. I also want to remind everyone that because of the time and there's so many people on the phone call, that please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, and we will keep time and let you know when you have reached your time limit. Out of respect for everyone, and we want to make sure that we have a chance to hear everyone tonight. With that,
Ms. Dancho, it does look like 2 people have called in that may want to sign up. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you want to ask for that, Margot, and I'll hold off for a second to see if they want to speak tonight.
Yeah, if you've just called into the meeting and you'd like to sign up to speak at the public hearing, I'm going to need to get your name. Anybody? Has anybody called in that has not already given me their name?
Hi, Margot.
Yes?
Hi, it's Caitlin Shake. I called in.
Okay.
I just want you to be able to see where I am on the screen.
I'm going to label you now.
Thank you. If I get disconnected and I call back, will it still register as me?
It will not.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not getting any responses to people wanting to sign up, so
Okay.
I'm going to mute the people that
Yeah.
have called in that are not signing up, and then we should be good to go.
Okay, so we will ask for the first person on the list, and when Margot calls you, please restate your name and address for the record, and then we will begin your time. Go ahead, Margot.
Okay. The first speaker is Chiamaka Alino.
Hi, I'm Chiamaka Alino. I live in 225 Nutmeg Lane. So I just wanted to talk about the importance of the library. The library has been a very vital resource to me ever since I moved to Stratford. Before the pandemic, it was a great place to go to study or hang out with my friends or just read a book alone. And the programs and the books that the library offer have been a great help to also my school life. Especially this past year, the library has truly pulled through in helping the community keep our spirits up. The grab and go programs, which brought activities to our homes, helped me and many others stay productive throughout this very stagnant year. And I'm so grateful for the library and all the resources it provides to me and the community. And I hope that it continues to prosper with your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alina.
Thank you.
And we can do caller number 2, Margot.
Next up is Ellen Guyon.
Yes, I'm here. I'm Ellen Guyon, and I live at 16B Algonquin Lane in Stratford. I'm speaking because I'm passionate about both our Stratford Library and libraries in general, and the proposed budget cuts I feel are reprehensible. Sometimes budget cuts may be necessary. However, the proposed $55,000 budget reduction will cost the library dearly in terms of staffing hours, new acquisitions, programs, and services. It seems excessive, punitive, and out of proportion when one considers not only what the library provides in person, but even more importantly during these COVID and hopefully moving into post-COVID times, what it provides virtually to so very many Stratford residents and students. I believe the library is the heart and soul of Stratford and very likely the only service normally used on a daily basis by about 700 residents from toddlers to seniors. COVID has cut the in-person use while increasing virtual use, though I'm certain the true end of the pandemic will see a return of those 700 daily visitors. Personally, I'm a voracious reader and thrilled that I can obtain all the new books I want to read, which I could never afford if I had to purchase them. And the COVID closure of the library last year really hit hard. First, it had me watching TV, which I never do, and I was ordering books, preferably used if possible, online. And I was overjoyed when the library reopened, even for the just taking the books from that they left outside. Their hours, evenings, weekdays, weekends make it easy to fit into anyone's schedule. Another factor is Stratford has a mixed demographic composition, which at the lower end includes many students who rely on the library computers and staff assistance for their educational needs. I went online and checked the Connecticut mastery scores for various grades in a number of towns, and those demonstrating the highest scores in percentile achievements are clearly ones which support their libraries rather than sabotage them, as Stratford is planning to do at such a critical time. And the price we'll pay for this as a town will way exceed the actual budget cuts. Stratford's middling mastery scores cannot afford to drop further, yet the impact of a year of distance learning suggests that this might happen regardless. Let the library help. Don't tie their hands by limiting funds. And the library does not represent any special interest group. As the heart and soul of our community, it stands for all of us. Thus, I strongly believe the town council should take a closer look at the new budget and find other viable alternatives so that hopefully all, or at least most of the proposed library budget reduction can be restored, and there will not be such a penalty imposed on both the library staff and on the entire town. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Guyon.
You're welcome.
Martha, we can go. Thank you.
The next speaker is Juanita Lafley.
Hello, my name is Juanita Lafley. I live at 106 Canaan Court, Unit 16, Stratford, Connecticut, 06614. The Stratford Library is and has been a dynamic resource to my family for over 30 years. My children and myself have utilized it to borrow books, videos, and have access to a quiet space to type papers and print them out for school. I took my insurance license test there in the room in the back. My children are adults now, and I have grandchildren. With my grandchildren, I've participated in children activities and projects. I went to a training session on how to read to children so they can comprehend and enjoy being read to and become better readers in the future. Our latest benefit is toddler time with Caitlin Augusta, known as Miss A. My youngest grandchild, Autumn, participates. Because of the pandemic, we're doing Zoom. And Miss A does not only teach children, she instructs and informs parents. She learns personalities and includes complimentary comments along with direction whereby the children and the adult can benefit from her input. The children's self-esteem is boosted. This is the closest to preschool my granddaughter has experienced, whereby she can interact with other children in an educational setting. Ms. A explains the benefits of the curriculum. I have never felt parental education for children at that age was given this level of explanation prior to this experience. Being a grandparent during the pandemic, I would love to see more children and families involved, both now and in the near future when we will gather in person. My granddaughter has benefited from this program. I have learned why we do the exercises. She loves the activities. Miss A, Mandy, and her peers, thank you for offering this program. I promise you leaders will come out of this program. Thank you, Miss A, Mandy, toddler parents, and the town of Stratford for this program. Please continue to offer it to Stratford residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lafley. Round caller number 4.
The next caller is Rachel Donahue.
Hi, Thank you for having me. My name is Rachel Donahue, and my address is 1274 Salvia Street, Stratford 06614. I'm so glad I followed that statement because I have something very similar to say. When my son Benjamin was born premature in November 2019, my husband and I were forced to conduct our own quarantine out of extreme precaution for our baby's health and safety. Little did we know that as Benjamin grew bigger and stronger, the quarantining would continue. Within the first few months of motherhood, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression and anxiety. The virtual programs offered by the library became a much needed light at the end of a very dark tunnel. Baby Lap Sit with Miss Tess gave Ben the chance to see and hear other babies his age. The songs we have learned have become staples in our home and have been adopted by friends and family over video chat. Recently, we began participating in toddler time with Miss A, and watching Ben's confidence grow has been incredibly heartwarming. I feared that quarantine would be so isolating for Ben and for me. Thanks to the library, we look forward to seeing our friends each week, and together we have our own special community within a library that means so much to so many people. I just can't wait to see everyone in person. And Benjamin and I are nearly a year into our relationship with the library, and to say that it has been life-saving would not be an exaggeration. Thank you for giving me the time to speak and share. A much overdue thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Donahue.
The next speaker is Barbara Heimlich.
Good evening. I'm Barbara Heimlich. I live at 91 College Street in Stratford. I'm going to use my 3 minutes to hit on just a couple areas that I looked at in the 2021 adopted and the 2022 proposed budget, operating budget. Let's start with EMS, special assessment. Why was the EMS reduced by over $100,000? I believe the EMS is vital to our town. I believe that the EMS has been vital to assisting us not only with the COVID pandemic, but also in the overdoses for drugs. That's number one. Governor Lamont is gifting Stratford a one-time $4.7 million distress municipality grant, which I believe the town has labeled as COVID relief, yet I don't see any place in the budget that I looked at today that is allocating any of that 4.7 towards mitigating the cost of COVID. As far as I can see in looking at the budget, where would I go to find out where this 4.7 million is being used? Overhead and debt increased by $335,000. Why? I would think that overhead during COVID-19, where the town hall has been closed for months, would have less of an overhead. Where is the state COVID allocated? Education, let's talk about the mayor's office. In 2020, the budget was $5,819. Now in 2021 and 2022, you're asking for $15,750, an increase of almost $10,000. Why? Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, education and travel costs for the Human Resources Department were, and I quote from your budget, been reduced at this time as educational conferences have been delayed or suspended. How is it that the mayor's department increased almost by $10,000? The registrar's office got a $10,000 grant for implementing and ensuring safety standards for the recent election and the upcoming election. The Connecticut Military Department added an additional $5,000, and an additional grant for COVID-19 in the amount of $31,824 came from the Center for Technology and Civic Life. That's a total of $46,824. In the budget for 2021, the budget increased by $14,837, and for 2022 decreases by $12,285 total expenses for the registrar's office. are you able to, where was the $46,824 allocated? And that's it for tonight. I thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Ms. Heimlich.
The next speaker is Deborah Grossman.
Hi, I'm Deborah Grossman, and I live at 232A Box Elder Lane in Stratford, 06614. And I just want to say that we moved to Stratford 5 years ago to be closer to family in the area. And before we settled on a place to buy, we checked out the library because libraries have always been important to my husband and me our whole lives. We were impressed by the building and, more importantly, the friendly and comfortable atmosphere, not to mention the good collection of books and other amenities. I won't say we bought here because of the library, but it sure didn't hurt. And the library, we believe, is an asset to this town, and I'm dismayed to learn that it may have a reduction in funding from the town. I think that would be a big mistake. Over the last 5 years, I've come to deeply appreciate what the library here means to all kinds of people. The staff is key to my admiration. They are unfailingly helpful, friendly, and knowledgeable, and I'm aware of the terrific and varied programming offered to the community. There is really something for anyone and everyone. We're all glad that the library is reopened to an extent, but during the months when it was closed, it was so great that the staff organized it so that patrons could order books and have them set outside for pickup. The library seems to me to be the heart of this community. It is really so important to the quality of life here in Stratford. Please restore the funding.
Thank you, Ms.
That's
Gross.
all.
Go ahead, Margot. We can take the next caller if there's one.
The next speaker is Cecilia Mallon.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Cecilia Malin. I live in 91 Columbus Avenue, 06615. I moved to Stratford 4 years ago, and back then my first child was 16 months old. Me and my husband were looking for resources to help him with his delays in speech. We found that at the Stratford Library there was a robust children program. This was a great resource for us, and all the staff members were always open to provide necessary materials, activities that my son enjoyed, and help him thrive through his childhood years. During the past year, my second child was just 8 months old when the pandemic hit the state. Even though the sanitary crisis, Stratford Library was always available to continue providing services to the safety of our home. I feel thankful and blessed that the Stratford Library is a part of our family's life, and by offering culture, education, while bypassing the budget expenses for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mallon.
The next speaker is Candace Mack.
Hi, I'm here.
Ms. Mack, can you please state your name and your address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
My name is Candace Mack, and I live at 10 Boulder Ridge Road, Stratford, Connecticut.
Go ahead, ma'am, you have 3 minutes.
So I just wanted to talk about the Stratford Library. I think it's one of the best things in Stratford. It's a great place for lower income students, not only lower income students, but lower income residents. They have so many resources, like the computers, books. Like it's just such a great place. And personally, I got firsthand experience since I'm a volunteer there. And you get to see that the older generation, that's a really important place for them to go. And there's a lot of older movies. And it really helps them because it's like takes them back to a place and it keeps them calm, and it also gives them something to talk about. And the teen center, I think the teen center has given students open opportunity to talk about things that sometimes you have to suppress, and on Discord we get to openly talk about like new things and experiences and world problems. And I also got to meet a lot of new people, and I think cutting the budget for the library would be really like a disappointment, kind of, because the library just does so much for so many people, like new moms, and there's also ASL classes that you can take for free, and not many people get that opportunity in different towns. There's book clubs for people. You can talk about different books, and there's knitting classes on Zoom, and I think that cutting the budget would just be I don't think it would be worth it or appropriate for the Stratford residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mack. Margot, do we have any other callers signed up?
Yeah, the next caller is Andrea Velu.
Go ahead, Ms. Velu, your name and address for the record, and then 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Andrea Veyu, and I reside at 441 Washington Parkway in Stratford, Connecticut, 06615. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight regarding the budget. COVID has made it difficult to attend meetings in person, yet technology is a plus that allows more in attendance and in transparency. I'd like to thank Laura Dancho for asking really tough questions that I saw her ask at the Board of Ed liaison meeting that was recorded and put on YouTube. The Board of Ed liaison meeting, Laura stated that the Board of Ed had unused funds allocated in their budget at year end, and yet after that fact, every year they receive more and more. My question is, when are the accounts going to be adjusted? There's evidence on their website and their own documentation that they have year-end funds left over. In 2018-19, there was $400,000 left over, and encumbered they had $500,000 for the Bridgeport Magnet School tuition. Well, we know they didn't pay the tuition until this year. There was $1.5 million paid. I'd like to ask where that money came from, since it wasn't budgeted in their budget. Also, last year they had $700,000 that was not spent. I'd like to ask, where is that currently? Where is that money? And how much is going to be saved this year? They did a lot of remote learning, and we don't know what the savings will be this year. So I appreciate, some of the questions, but I think that more could be done. I'm concerned with the reevaluations helped significantly this year in increasing the grand list, and I appreciate that the budget contains the mill rate to 39%. But what's going to happen next year? I'm really concerned that a lot of the tax burden is going to be, the onus will be on the homeowner. So I'd like you to look at the budget, and you can hear people saying, like, don't take it from the library. $55,000. If I would do anything, I would find that somewhere else and support the library. I think you should also, I was going to say thank you for releasing the audits, because that was a concern for me for transparency and accountability, but I do see one audit was released. And I don't know where the other CAF are, the annual audit from the town. I don't know if that's been put on your website yet. That's all I had to say. Well, thank you. I support the library. I support the dogs. I rescue my dogs, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ballou.
Thank you.
Is there any more public on the list, Margo?
No, no one else has signed up, but one person has come into the meeting by phone, and I don't know who that might be.
Okay, if anyone has recently called in and had not had the sign up prior to 6:30, please let Margo know, and we'll take your voice now.
This is Jerry DiOrio, just listening.
Hi, Jerry. Okay, so seeing as there's no more public to speak on tonight's agenda, it is 6:55 p.m. and I will adjourn the public hearing. Thank you all for your input. It is now 6:55 p.m. and I will convene the special meeting of the Ordinance Committee. I'm Laura Dancho and I am chairing this committee. The agenda items are the proposed budget for fiscal year 22 as well as the mill rate. Let me get my agenda here. Is there any motion for tonight?
Chairwoman Dancho, Chris Pia.
Mr. Pia.
How are you, Laura? I'd like to make a motion to combine items 2.1 and 2.2 for discussion purposes only.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
This is Bill O'Brien. I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Is there any discussion? Someone's trying to speak.
No, it's good that we combine. This is Greg Cam.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? No opposed. I believe there are 9 counselors here tonight. Margot, is that correct?
Correct.
The vote is unanimous. Okay, so the items are combined for discussion.
So Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 2.1 and 2.2.
There's a motion on the floor to approve item 2.1 and 2.2. Is there a second?
Yes, Bill O'Brien. I second.
Dave, I heard Bill. So Bill has seconded. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chairman, John
Yes.
Flora, the motion really should be to move to the council with a favorable recommendation.
You're right.
Madam Chair, I'll restate my motion. Thank you, Attorney Flork. Make a motion to approve item 2.1 and 2.2 and move to the town council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. And Mr. O'Brien, do you agree?
Yeah, yes, I still second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Chairman Dancho, it's Greg Cam.
Mr. Can.
Thank you. Regarding the budget that is before us, if our town was realizing meaningful economic development, we'd not have to rely on bailouts from the state of Connecticut or use our limited borrowing powers to merely balance the town's annual budget. We teach our children the value of self-reliance, and until we invest in our own future, we will not realize an internal organic growth. The mayor celebrated 140 new businesses opening last year in Stratford, yet nearly as many closed their doors. We have many development projects that, due to lack of coordination, have languished, not yet been completed. Stratford is often a town that takes one step forward and then one step back, and that's not how you make progress. If we love our town, we must learn to take care of our town. And if we love our town, we need to practice local control. This budget, it reduces our investment in redevelopment. This budget cuts services. This budget improperly overstates revenues and avoids recognizing certain expenses. The standards of financial reporting require that we create an objective plan for 2022. This budget does not improve our ability to compete with other municipalities. I want Stratford to be the home of solutions. I don't want to settle for mayor resolutions. I want Stratford to be the home of results. I don't want to settle for mayor reports. The budget relies on state and federal agencies to bail us out. These are programs designed and delivered by Democrats and loudly rejected by many Republicans. I say thank you to the Democrats who are sustaining our town. I don't want to be a hypocrite that bites the hand that feeds us. Most importantly, let's learn to feed ourselves. If we really love Stratford, then let's own the solution. We need a budget that truthfully demonstrates local control. I am not in favor of the budget as it's currently written.
Thank you, Mr. Can. Is there anyone else with any further discussion?
Ms. Dancha?
Mr. Pia?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for doing this for the charter. We're moving along back to the council. Glad to still work on the budget and wait to see how more of the revenue comes in from the feds, and we'll make our final determination at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion from someone else on the council? Seeing none, we're going to take a vote. And I think because we're virtual and a lot of you are not visible, I think I would like to do a roll call vote, Margot. And this is to move the budget back to town council with a favorable recommendation.
Are you doing 2.1 and 2.2 separately, the votes?
We could take the vote separately, please.
Okay. So this is Margot Paquette, the recording secretary, and this is the roll call vote for agenda item 2.1. Mr. Pia.
Chair votes aye.
Ms. Shake. Ms. Shake.
Caitlin, you need to unmute.
Ms. Shake.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your
Very
vote.
good, thank you.
And what is your vote for item 2.1?
My vote is no, and I was texting trying to participate in the discussion, but I was muted and unable to participate. So my vote is no.
Mr. Tavares.
No.
Mr. Hardin. Mr. Hardin.
Mr. Hardin votes yes, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Can.
No.
Mr. Poisson. I'm sorry, Mr. Poisson?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Perillo?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
And Ms. Dancho?
And the chair votes yes. Motion carries. 6-3.
6-3, yes.
6-3.
And now this is the roll call vote for agenda item 2.2. Mr. Pia?
Mr. Pia votes yes.
Ms. Shake?
No.
Mr. Tavares?
No.
Mr. Hardin?
Mr. Hardin votes yes.
Mr. Can?
No.
Mr. Poisson?
Yes.
Mr. Perillo?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
And chair votes, Chair Laura Dancho votes yes. Motion carries 6-3.
Madam Chair, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second, Dave Hardin.
Thank you, Dave. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Votes aye. Motion carries. Thank you all for coming out tonight. And this meeting is adjourned at 7:04 p.m.